We are live, going live for the S&P 500 Friday, June 6th market close. So I wanted to do this stream just to see what the results of the rebalancing are. We're probably not going to get it for about half an hour after the market closes. So we're just going to sit over here and see what's actually going to happen. So let me go ahead and share my screen. All right. We got the markets here. So just to preface a little bit, we are basically closing above 6,000, or at least hopefully going to close above 6,000 for the first time since February of 2025. And it's been some time since we've visited these levels. I mean, I've been calling for a melt up this whole time. Well, I'm sorry, when I say the whole time, maybe like the last few weeks before we were going to retest that 200-day moving average. And then we came back and we tested that 200-day moving average on the market. And that was like your textbook setup. You know, you come back, you break the 200-day moving average, you come back, retest it, and then just rocket launch from there. And for the most part, that's really what it was. Let me actually bring up my SMAs over here. Hold on. Got to make sure my stuff is good here. Nope, reset to default. There we go. So yeah, right over here. This is like your textbook setup. And then we just gapped up that week and we have not looked back really since then. And we're just literally in melt up mode. Like this market is just relentless right now. We see a little bit of weakness in some certain tickers, but for the most part, we got a few candidates that are on the show for making the S&P 500 rebalance. So we got, of course, our beloved Robinhood candidate here. It was actually pretty funny. There was a tweet this morning from Vlad. Let me actually bring that up over here. Yeah, he tweeted this morning saying good morning, and like everyone just went off on that one. They're just like, oh, this is it. He said good morning to everyone. So that means that we're definitely going to have them included, but you know, we'll see. I mean, maybe people are just reading that much into it. Maybe I was reading that much into it, but it is what it is. Let's see here. Yeah, right here. Like, look at these comments. Like, are we in the S&P 500 or not? Come on, man. You could tell us. Like, it was just so funny when he did that one. But anyways, let me share my other screen again. It's pretty interesting here because we could be having quite a few tickers here entering the SP 500. So here are my thoughts in terms of what's actually going to make it into the SP 500. Actually, you know, before that, let's go over the big list. I put it right here. By the way, if you guys aren't following me, if you're streaming this on YouTube, go ahead and check me out on Twitter. My Twitter handle is the headline right under my face right there. But yeah, we got App Lovin' on here. We got Interactive Brokers, Southern Copper Co., Carvana, which I don't know how this is possibly going to make it, because I was looking at their income statements and stuff, and yeah, they're profitable and everything, but they really depend on the used car market, which is actually pretty hot right now because the interest rates are so high. The demand for new cars are pretty low. So people are just buying used cars off the market and they're choosing it in the most convenient way by using Carvana. So, you know, what happens if interest rates come down? Like, are people going to start using Carvana more or not? You know, we'll see. I don't want to say it's kind of a gamble, but like, it would really suck to go on the SP 500 and then be uneligible for it soon after that. Not saying that they're going to not stay in the SP 500, but we'll see. But yeah, welcome everyone. Good to see you all here. Yep. What's going on, June? What's going on, JS? Ray, Gerd, Jop. Sorry I mispronounced your name. I see you hanging out around here a lot. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right. So yeah, we got a few names on here. Some names that that are really interesting for me are ooh, nice. I got my own room. Is of course Robinhood, App Lovin'. I own Robinhood, I own App Lovin', so that'd be cool to see it in there. I do not own Datadog, but I mean they've been flexing the data and infrastructure monitoring realm for quite some time. Like, they are the unmatched leader in there, so I wouldn't be surprised to see them in there. Of course, we have the trade desk sustaining profitability for quite some time. I don't think that's you know, if you really think about it over here, the trade desk, App Lovin', and also Reddit is on this list. These are all ad tech companies. I own all three of them, actually. So, hey, if one of them goes in there, that's great. I do not own Ubiquity. This is a company that specializes in networking hardware, mostly for consumers, but also for enterprises. And I think this is a Meet Kevin stock, actually. But this one has been on a crazy run for quite some time, since 2023. But certainly not a cheap stock, but a lot of companies tend to make their way into the indices, even though they're not cheap stocks. Duolingo, that would be really interesting to see in there. I mean, I don't see why that would not make it in there. Zoom Communications, get out of here. That company's not going to be around in like 5 or 10 years, or maybe they'll get acquired. Who knows? Newton X, basically application management for data centers and stuff. Pinterest, that'll be interesting to see that one on there. Toast is definitely a good one. Block, yeah, right. Get out of here. Sorry, I don't know if that's going to make it in there. If it does, I mean, that's cool, but you'll definitely get quite a bit on VG if this one makes it in there along with Next. I mean, just for sympathy plays and so on. But yeah, I mean, we have quite an eventful afternoon. And just to preface, I might not be streaming the entire S&P rebalance, but I'll certainly post it on Twitter on there for you guys, whatever's on there. But yeah, going over the picks that I think are going to make it on there are, of course, Robinhood. I think is going to be on there. I think that's a great candidate to be on there. It could be disappointing. It could not make it on there, and the thing's going to dump like 5% on Monday. We'll see. And then there's Reddit. I think Reddit has a good possibility of making it in there as well. Both companies are obviously profitable for 3 sequential quarters on a GAAP basis, so they are definitely eligible to be on there. Forget exactly what the other requirements are to be in the SP 500, but hey, I mean, Hood has been on quite a run lately, so if it makes it in there, that will be the icing on the cake. I don't have a short-term swing position on Robinhood. I do have a long-term position, of course, in Robinhood. Sorry, I don't have expiration for any time in the next few weeks for Robinhood. I do have September calls for that one. So we'll see what happens with that one. Those ones are doing really well. I know Paper Gains has that as well. So shout out to Paper. And we'll see what happens with that one. But let's actually go back to some of these charts here because we're seeing a little bit of pullback in the markets right now. Yeah, actually, not really pullback in market, just a pullback in Tesla, of course. Tesla's been quite interesting all day, actually. It bounced pretty considerably, but it's just been hovering between this 200-day moving average, and I think this is the 50-day moving, 50-day moving average. So it's literally just bouncing between those two ranges there. So this is definitely going to break out at some point to the upside or the downside. Who really knows? I do have a FAFO position, 0 DTA YOLO on Tesla right now, just some loose change. But overall, the day went pretty well. I hope a lot of you guys followed me on NBIS. I mean, this has just been a monster lately. Me and myself and Manuel, MVC Investing on Twitter. You guys might know him, writes some amazing Substacks. But me and him, we went on Stock Tank with Tevis and Crossroads and Future Investing Tanner. And we basically pitch it to them. And I forget which one of them owns some of NBIS or something, but we basically got shat on during that whole time. And they basically said no. And I'm not going to rub it in anyone's face. Like obviously you can't catch all the winners in the markets. Yeah, I mean, they had some great cases. I mean, the company's not profitable. They're burning cash every single quarter. And I don't know if they're actually going to be profitable on a GAAP basis anytime soon, but definitely on an adjusted EBITDA basis, they are supposed to be profitable on that by the end of the year. But again, adjusted metrics is not a GAAP metric. So on an accounting basis, that doesn't really mean anything. It just looks good in their balance sheet. It just looks good in their press releases. So whatever. But either way, it's definitely catching the tailwind of the data center market coming back. NVIDIA had strong earnings. I would even say Broadcom had strong earnings, but of course it was hitting some crazy valuations into those earnings, but it could easily come back next year. So if you guys don't know NBIS, I'll put it in the show notes, but I do have an X community that I created for NBIS. Let's actually see here. Let me grab that real quick. I want to provide you guys with this information, but holy cannoli, when I'm streaming, it is not as easy to do all this stuff because the freaking camera's right in my face and you guys are waiting for information and my anxiety is kicking in. So we'll see. But I'm literally trying to look for this stupid community right now. Where's this community thing? Hold on, guys. Give me a second. Market's going to close in about 1 minute. I don't have a bell like Amit. Shout out to Amit hitting 200K followers on Twitter. That's freaking awesome. He couldn't do the market close today, so I thought like, hey, why not just go on here and just do the S&P 500 rebalancing. Again, shout out to Amit as well. Here is the link to, I'll put it on the banner here, and then I'll also post it in the chat in case you guys want it. And there you go. Actually, I'll put it on there. Yeah, so it's there in the chat. Sorry, guys. I don't even know how you're supposed to copy that and put it on there. But yeah, just go ahead and go under the community section for on Twitter, and then just search NBIS, and you'll probably find it. So yeah, market closed just now. We got basically S&P 500 is up about 1%. The Qs are up about 1% here. The Dow Jones about 1%, and the IWM Russell 2000 index is leading 1.6% up. This is actually pretty interesting. There's a bit of divergence here with the with tech lagging behind the S&P 500 on that close, because tech was leading the way the whole day, and then it kind of pulled back a little bit. But as far as we see it on these charts, I mean, we're really not that far away from all-time highs here. Sorry, guys. Let me know if you see those numbers come out for the rebalancing. Yeah, we're like about 2% away from the all-time highs for the Qs. And for SPY, we are, man, we're like just kissing it, 2% away from the all-time highs. Like, we're going to get there, guys. Like, it's just, this is either going to be a massive rug, or we're going to hit all-time highs probably next few weeks. You know, I'm not trying. It was fun playing the upside for quite some time, punching some calls through, you know, just getting money off of that. But at the same time, like now, like I'm not trying to stretch anything thin. Of course, I still have the long-term positions. Portfolio is doing really well on the back of NBIS making some good gains. Astera Labs as well. Rubrik reported earnings yesterday. I don't know if you guys caught the write-up that I did for Rubrik. I posted it this morning. Amazing company in data security. However, valuation, I think it's trading around 17 times enterprise value to next 12 months sales. So it's pretty expensive right now. But, you know, still got a lot of runway. Of course, not profitable, burning cash every single quarter. So it's not exactly the best for value investors. But as a growth investor, it looks pretty good, right? So also, someone mentioned in the chat as well, wow, Lemonade going up there. You know, I know Tevis has this one, so he's probably pretty excited to see this one, but this one looks really good. I have a feeling that Hood's going to be a rug pull. Yeah, you know, I have a feeling too. I think it's going to be a rug pull, but I'm really standing by Reddit and Hood making it in. That would be awesome if they did. But yeah, Hood had quite a pullback into the close. And this is probably the main reason why I think it might be a rug pull, is just seeing the price action right before the market close. But look at Reddit the whole day. Holy crap, guys. Like, this is just up and to the right the whole day, just making new highs of days throughout the entire day, up 8%. So we're actually up above 120 for the first time since a few weeks ago. Yeah, so there you go. Anyways, we'll see what happens with that one. You know what? Let me get some of these tickers up on here. Get out of your Google. Ooh, ASTS. I hope you guys are in that one too. ASTS and RKLB. Those are doing really good lately. I know some of you guys were in RKLB since like the freaking low single digits. Congratulations. You guys caught that one very early. Of course, I'm late to the game as usual. But you know, it has been performing pretty well. I think I'm about 50% on that one, which is great. Even though I was late, still pretty good. I don't expect it to stay around here. I think there might be a pullback at some point. And definitely RKLB's can get hit if that happens. Same thing with NBIS, Astera Labs, and all these other small caps. So we got TDD, we got IBKR. Oops, my bad. IBKR, UI. What are some other names? Here's my big list over here. What a day yesterday. Holy cow. I don't know. I did not see that coming yesterday, by the way, guys. Like, that was crazy. Everything that was happening yesterday. Carvana, I got in the list. Viva Systems. Viva Systems is actually a software company that's mostly for healthcare systems. Chris might know what that one is, but very popular in the market, leader in that vertical. I mean, they're doing really well as a company. Like, it's not going to be your most favorite Wall Street growth stock. But certainly it is definitely a favorite amongst a lot of value investors when it was in the mid hundreds. Now it's at 285. Wow, that's really pushing up there. Oh, Vertiv Holdings? No way. Wow, if that makes it to SP 500, that'd be crazy. Okay, so I got a few names on here that I want to look at. You know, if it's not these names on my list, then it's just not going to be interesting to me. But let go here, let go. And okay, fine. Why not Zoom? That'll be interesting if Zoom was on there. And there was a big one that I wanted to put on this list too, just to make sure I see the price action. Square, D-Dog, Datadog. Who here knows what Datadog is? You guys know what Datadog is? I wonder if you guys know what Datadog is. All right, so there was another one on here. It's good. The one that I forget to put on here is going to be the one that's in SP 500. I guarantee you. It's going to be the one that I don't remember. Chris trying to get you by too lazy. Yeah. Datadog. Oh, NBIS. Oscar. Holy crap. Did that one have a good day? I was thinking about doing a speculative play on that one, actually. Oh, interesting. Down today. Trading below the two. Oh, got rejected on the 200-day moving average. That's an interesting one. Okay. Yeah, I got these technicals here just to help me find some entry levels and see how it performs. I mean, when you think about like the stock market, a lot of money are trend followers in the stock market. So if it's like above all the moving averages, then it's going to find a lot of strength. Like for example, over here, yeah, Hood like got above all of its moving average, especially the it bounced off the 200-day, which is pretty strong for it. This was a great buy right here, and it's all the way up here. And I think it's still got a lot of room to go. So yeah, all right, IBKR. Yeah, we'll see IBKR. Did I already add that to my list? Yeah, it's on the list over there. So let's see here, IBKR. Did that have a strong close? Yeah. I mean, it was a good day today. It was just grinding up. So maybe someone knows something. We'll see. You know, again, guys, don't focus too much on the price action when you think about these long-term positions. Like, you know, when you think about a Hood, it's like, I don't know. I mean, I'll probably buy more, but it's got to drop a lot lower from here in order for me to buy more. I already built full-size position, but if I'm going to add to this position, like I better come down to the 50s or sub 50s. I don't know if that's going to happen though. We'll see. The market definitely has strength. Actually, what did Palantir do today? Oh, okay, that's good. It's up 7%. Yeah, it's up 7% today. Wow, nasty day yesterday. Bounced pretty hard. Hope you guys caught that one. Congratulations to Palantir shareholders. That is, if the market stays bullish, it's going to maintain its valuation. Like people call for like a haircut, like a 50% haircut in this thing, but it's like, yeah, we just had a 50% haircut, but also the market has to be weak for that to have 50% haircut. It's not going to go down unless it's weak, right? If we look at Palantir, it's above all the moving averages, all of them. Actually, no, what is this one? The 20-day moving average. The 20-day moving average is all the way up here and it closed above it. Like they can defend. It's just been recovering the 20-day moving average. Like this is a clearly bullish chart. Not anything I'd want to chase, but this is clearly a bullish chart here. So why would you try to short this stock out of all the stocks? You want to short a stock? That would be Tesla. Tesla will be a great company to short if you're going to short a stock. It is in between here. It could possibly break down over here. It's weak on a very green day. Actually, not necessarily weak, but it did bounce off of the 177 level, big retail level over here. If you look over here, it had a little bit of resistance here, broke out, and then it was kind of support here. So of course it's going to come back, have a little bit of a relief bounce there. But I mean, I don't think that people who own Tesla are buying it because they think the auto market is going to come back and Tesla is going to be the leader. I don't think that's how it is. I think it's more like people are betting on the future, period. Like not just optimists, not just robots and autonomy and stuff. Like they're betting on the future, and it's going to happen. They're going to solve autonomy. They will. In fact, they probably already solved it, but they just haven't released it to the public yet. It is going to happen. We're going to be on Mars at some point. We're going to be in outer space. We're going to be the United States. We're literally going to be the United States of space. It's going to be Red Rocks, guys. It's happening. Trust me, it's happening. We just don't know when. That's the only thing. But if you own the shares, and who cares when it is? You know, like it'll come there at some point. But then there's opportunity cost, yada yada yada, whatever. You know, whatever happens. Wow, we have 140 people on here. Thank you guys for coming up. I don't think we'd have this many people on that was doing his market close. But you know, got to represent. Got to keep the party going. Mars, Red Rocks, yee. So, anyways, Man, I wanted to find out what the rebalancing was before my daughter gets home. When she gets home, she's going to bust through that front door and she's going to go wild. So I might have to end the stream when that happens. Otherwise, it's going to be a major disaster. Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Waltz, for being here. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you for coming here. Appreciate you guys. So cold. What's going on, man? You know what? Actually, Matt, me, you, and Chris got to do a stream sometime. I'll go on Cashflow Chronicles because Cashflow Chronicles is fucking dope. So thank you for doing those all the time and keeping strong for many, many years. Appreciate you guys on there. You know, I've been watching you guys in Cashflow for a long time, and it's just like just being in this crowd and streaming and having you attend my stream is just like something just I would have never imagined. But thank you all guys for coming here. Once again, we are waiting for the rebalancing of the S&P 500 results. Let me check X, see what the latest is on there. I wasn't fully prepared in this one, guys. So this isn't going to be yeah, yo, dude, yo, you're wild, man. You're wild. I'm not wild. You're wild. You're wild. You're Rocket Lab wild. You're Neutron wild. You're Electron wild. You're wild. All right. So we got we're still waiting for this rebalance thing. Archer flying. Oh, is it OTC? No, it's not OTC. It's not right. Yeah, no, I'm Archer. Looks like it's up to the right. Sorry, I'm not sharing that screen, but I just wanted to look at Archer. I was just curious if it was doing something. Yeah. So looks as if the rebalance leaked and Hood ain't in it. Get out of here, buddy. This freaking like Twitter. Hey, yo, Sam saw this. He's streaming. Holy crap! That's so cool. This is like, if I keep this on long enough, is this going to turn into like some sort of paradox or something? Whoa, whoa. Whoa. Anyways, yeah, I don't see anything on the rebalance happening here. Yeah, buddy. Ooh. If N phase gets taken out, holy Jesus. I forgot about that one actually. Oh, this is a nasty chart. Nasty. This, guys, is the complete opposite of Hood. Like, you're below all the moving averages. You're continuously getting rejected off of the 50-day moving average. Like, unless you have some serious conviction, you are just catching a falling knife. If they get taken out of the S&P 500, this thing is going to go down. Holy cannoli. Yeah. You guys want to bet on solar? You should buy Canadian Solar. I think that's one. Is it Canadian Solar? Yeah, I think Canadian Solar is a good one. Yeah, Canadian Solar is doing pretty good. There's also that other solar company. I don't know. I don't want to talk about solar. It's a very sad story. That caught a lot of people on it, writing that drain down, and that sucks, man. I mean, it happens, guys. If you've been in end phase this whole time and you're just like so pissed that it keeps on going down, you know, then it is what it is. It happens to everyone. Okay. Like I've gotten caught in some really bad stuff and I haven't sold and I sold at the worst time. Transmedics, right? And I'll publicly admit this. I have no problem admitting my mistakes. Like, we all make mistakes. So if there's someone out there who never admits they're wrong, then don't follow that person. Like, everyone is wrong at some point. Even the greatest traders and investors in the world are wrong many times. Like, honestly, you guys, so a lot of people, I don't know if you guys do, but a lot of people ragging on Bill Ackman. The guy is a legendary investor. Okay. Yes, he made a lot of mistakes in the past. He made a mistake with Netflix, made a mistake with Nike, whatever. But like, his performance is still really good. And okay, he manages $10 billion plus. Okay. Like, anyone who doesn't manage more than $1 million, even $1 billion, you can't criticize the man. Like, get out of here. The guy is a legend. All right. Like, he's doing great. And he makes mistakes too. And you know what? I made the mistake of selling Transmedics at a loss right before it went up like a few months later. And it's fine. It happens. Like, you know, it took a lot of time for me to research that company. If you guys caught the video that I released like early last year, of course I was adding as it was going down. And I hope, you know, I hope people who are in it stayed in it. I know a lot of people, with Chris, like they were hard in that due diligence and like they stayed in it. And that thing is up 110% year to date. Like, it's wild. Just like sticking with certain conviction and making that huge comeback is great. but the difference between that and like Enphase is that Transmedics is on a secular trend of being able to have they basically have the end-to-end logistics for organ transplants. Like they're not just servicing the transplants themselves, but they have the end-to-end logistics for it and the devices that are used in that entire ecosystem. That is a moat. When you think of Enphase, they don't really have a moat. They have so many competitors out there, a lot cheaper products. And on top of that, there's no secular tailwind. Solar was very hyped up in the 2021s, 2020s and 21s because interest rates were low because it costs like $20,000 plus for putting up solar in your house. But now no one's really buying it. And I'm not saying that it won't come back. I'm just saying like there's no secular tailwind. So it's really hard for me to invest in these companies if they are not part of some sort of secular tailwind. And that's the reason why I have such a big position in multiple cybersecurity companies, because there is a secular trend with this. Like cybersecurity is the one budget that companies do not cut and rarely cut. And if they do cut it, they only consolidate. Other than that, like that's like literally just not caring about your immune system in your body. Like it's totally important. You got to take your vitamins, got to eat healthy, exercise, whatever. And if you don't take care of it, you're going to go to crap, right? So anyways, I don't want to rant on that one, but Enphase, I think management, they just got caught in a bad market, right? Otherwise, like I thought management did pretty well, but buying back shares at those ridiculous valuations is pretty crazy. At the same time, like if you think about it for 2022, it was up while the entire market was down. So that performed very well. And a lot of people got out near the top, which is great, right? But if you're buying it now, I'm not saying it's not going to come back. I'm just saying have the conviction, know why you're in it, and be ready to ride the roller coaster. So enough about that. Oh, yo, Evatronic, what's going up, girl? Yeah, no, I'm not going hard on Vitali. And second of all, Vitali has a lot of meta. He cut the bottom of meta. Like that truly is like, come on, and if he lost money on Enphase, I'm sure he made way more back with Meta. And also, I think he's still in Unity. Unity is making quite a comeback. That ad revenue in terms of its gaming sector could really reaccelerate those revenues and possibly put it back after a long time of being not profitable. If that company becomes profitable again, it's going to go to like the 40s and the 50s, right? So I have a speculative position in Unity, so we'll see what happens with that one. Did we get any action here yet? Man, I'm like waiting for my daughter to come home. I'm not waiting for my daughter to come home because when she comes home, I got to jump off the stream. And I really hope I catch this stupid rebalancing before it's done. So again, welcome guys. If you're just joining in, again, we're waiting for the S&P inclusion rebalancing results to come out. I personally do not have a Bloomberg terminal, so I don't know exactly when it comes out. I'm really just going to go by like whatever people on Twitter say. I'm not going to smash the refresh button on their website because it's probably going to get hammered even when it comes out, so I won't even know. So I'm going to wait until some big account like posted on Twitter. Am I in Sentinel-1? I gotta have to admit, I used to have Sentinel-1, and then it was a long-term position. I bought Sentinel-1 when it was like in its 15s and actually 13s and 14s, like back in 2023. And then I rode that until it was like in its 30s, and I trimmed the position heavily. And then I basically got out of the position to buy more CrowdStrike. And when the CrowdStrike outage happened, that's when I thought, okay, Sentinel-1 is going to make a big comeback because this is their opportunity to shine, right? Sentinel-1, if you guys don't know, is like the second in line when it comes to endpoint client management. CrowdStrike is number one when it comes to endpoint security. Microsoft is actually, I mean, they are technically number two, but they're more of a gigantic player and just one of their products, obviously. So they have the bundling power. So I don't really consider that as like technically a leader in the market. They are, but it's like, they will always be around. They always have the dominant market all the time because they're freaking Microsoft, right? So anyways, Sentinel-1 just didn't show up. I listened to those earning calls quarter after quarter, and their results were not showing up. So I decided to cut that position the previous quarter, actually, and then I added more to CrowdStrike. And here we are with CrowdStrike at nosebleed valuations. And Sentinel-1 is actually trading a lot lower than that outage, and CrowdStrike is like basically double it is since that outage. So yeah. Thoughts on recent Nebia Surge. I mean, it's getting the love that it deserves, right? It's not going to be CoreWeave. CoreWeave is more of a GPU as a service, where they basically buy or rent GPUs and then rent out that GPU compute to specific clients for AI workloads. Microsoft is a major client of them, so they will always have cash flows in the company. And NVIDIA is invested in CoreWeave, but it has that hype, right? It has like that entire market confirmation, like this is a really crappy company. Its valuation makes no sense. I don't know why it's trading this high. And yet the thing is just like, actually, let's look at the chart today. Where is this stupid rebalancing, man? I'm telling you, when my daughter gets home, I gotta hop off this thing. I'm sorry, guys. CoreWeave. Let me share my screen. I'm like all over the place right now. I don't know how Amit does this. All right, so you can't even see the whole chart here. You can only see like the last few days. This is how ridiculous CoreWeave is. Like, I literally pulled up this chart and you can't see anything else other than just some line coming. Fucking shit. Okay. Jesus, man. 5:15. Sam, it's not out until 5. What? Okay, so guys, I'm in Los Angeles. So I gotta wait an hour? An hour? Oh, guys, my daughter's going to be home before then, and she's going to turn my house upside down. So I'm going to have to definitely get off the stream before then. Anyways, we'll see what we can do until it happens. By the way, guys, 169 of you on YouTube. This Twitter number on here, I have no idea what it actually is, but it says 1,700. I don't know if it's 1,700. I don't think. I think if someone joins this, like it doesn't take the number away, but 170 are active here. So again, thank you very much. This is the first time I'm doing a market close segment. Appreciate it. And glad you guys are spending some time with me. Yeah, I'll probably catch Amit when he does his, but I will not be able to stay on this one the whole time. You know, if you guys have kids, my daughter, she comes home from school, and she's someone who loves to take naps. So like when she comes home, like she just goes ballistic on the entire house. Like I wish I could just take this camera off, just like show you guys, but like that would be very embarrassing for her. And like, that's a little bit of invasion of privacy. So I'm not sure I want to let you guys into that world yet. Maybe at some point, but not yet. Not yet. Not yet. All right. So anyways, CoreWeave here. Yeah, this thing is just up and to the right. So let's actually put Nebius on this chart for a comparison. I mean, here we go. Let me hide that. And let me do this as a line chart. Okay, so why do I have lines on here? Where's my room? There we go. Move to it. All right, so clearly, this is a clear outperformance of CoreWeave. Okay, and right around May 15 was when CoreWeave had its earnings. Since then, this, I don't want to say a POS company, but I mean, its valuation is just absurd at this point, given that it's literally burning more cash in CapEx than it is in revenue. Like, it just makes no sense. But anyways, Nebius has found quite a bit lately, and it's exciting. It's exciting to see that that this company that you know, I did a lot of research on just gets the attention it deserves. And it's not my baby, because Couch Investor or Neil has been talking about this for quite some time, and so has Manuel. And you know, I wasn't the first one to talk about it. I'm not going to be over here and be like I'm the first one to talk about it. But for myself, like it feels very fulfilling to do research and everything on a company and keep adding it to it in the midst of this chaos last April. In case you guys were living under a rock, we went into a bear market or intraday bear market in April, and you know, just seeing the thing just rip up. Is this going to be sustainable? Probably not. I don't think this is going to be sustainable. I think, like, to be completely realistic, it's probably going to pull back into the low 30s or the 20s. I'm not telling you guys, hey guys, wait until it goes there to buy. And I'm not telling you to buy here. I can't really give that advice. I'm not a financial advisor. But for myself, I am not buying here. I did sell covered calls in this thing, and then I closed them yesterday, mostly because I'm a paper hander, but mostly because I just they actually came into considerable profit, those covered calls, from the downward move yesterday. So I closed the other one. The first covered call that I opened, I think I bought it back at like a 10% gain, which is like nothing. So anyways, I'm not trying to time this one. I would like to sell some cover calls if it does run up more, and then just let those shares get called away in case it does. But I always keep half of the position that I have, and I don't sell cover calls in half the position. Like for example, HIMS, I sold covered calls when it was like in its 60s, and I was about to get myself caught red-handed, and I thought I was going to go lower. So I actually bought back the cover call at a big profit, and then I sold half of my shares. Well, I was trimming as it was going up, but I basically have the half of the shares that I bought initially around 2,800 for HIMS. And in this previous spike for HIMS, I actually owned HIMS in the 20s. And then I closed too early on that one in the 42. So I made sure I didn't make that mistake this time. I still have HIMS. But yeah, I refuse to sell any covered calls in HIMS because that's a position I don't want to lose. So we'll see what happens with that one. For Hood, full position, guys. Have not sold any positions. And I even have September calls on Hood, which are doing really well. And I also have 2027 spreads on it, which are 100% up. So those are doing pretty good. Just sitting on those. I have a lot of time at those, especially with the September ones. I'm not trying to catch anything anytime soon. I did have calls expiring today for Hood coming into the week, and I already sold it yesterday during that drop. I had my runners got stopped out during that drop, but I was, of course, trimming and taking profits as it's going up because of risk management, guys. Risk management is the most important thing when it comes to trading. Okay. Risk management is important as always, not as important as investing because investing usually for long term. But when it comes to trading, risk management is the most important thing. So Jason actually has Paper Gains actually has a masterminds course. I don't know if you guys don't pay Paper Gains, but he will teach you everything and all about that, which is really cool. So go ahead and check that out in case you guys want to. But for me, I learned everything just through experience and through just the pain of losing a lot of money, which is pretty much how everyone else learns how to trade. Like, no one starts trading one day and then becomes profitable the next week and consistently profitable for the rest of their career. Like you have to lose a lot of money to learn how to trade. Like it is literally, you have to learn the hard way. That's just the one thing you have to learn the hard way. We're not supposed to blow up our accounts. Yeah, you're not supposed to blow up your accounts. But well, I have experience with that one. But again, blowing up your account means that like you literally take an account to zero trading. And it happens to a lot of people. And a lot of people come back from it. And a lot of people don't really come back from it. And that's really the end of the story for a lot of people. Anyways, just got here. How do you feel about Hood? I feel good about Hood. I feel good about Hood. Good morning. Vlad said good morning this morning. Vlad said good morning this morning. Interesting. Okay, so I went on a little bit of a tangent there. Sorry about that. I apologize. And yeah, people in the chat just told me that that we're going to get these rebalancing numbers in about 45 minutes, and I will not be here. Because again, my daughter's gonna come home and she's gonna tear my house apart. So she's 6 years old. She isn't like I don't have like a 20-year-old daughter that just comes home and just like goes ham on the entire house and just destroys everything. Like, no, she's 6 years old. A 6-year-old comes home and goes ham. Like that's just pretty much it's pretty much how it goes. So yeah. No, I have not been drinking. I am completely sober. I drank yesterday. My daughter graduated yesterday from kindergarten, which is very happy about. And she had a few people over and we all had a good time last night. Now I'm sober and I'm hungover. So I'm sober and I'm hungover. So yeah, I'm sober today. So anyways, yeah, I quit drinking last night. So I'm 1 day sober. Here we go, guys. All right. So yeah, I mean, Reddit had a great move today. I don't really know what else to talk about, guys. This is stupid. I thought this was going to come out at 1:15 my time, and it's just not. It literally is not. All right. So I guess since she's not home yet, maybe we could talk about some Rubrik. Okay. So first things first. All right. Let me pull this up. Cybersecurity, data security, Gartner. I'm trying to look for the Gartner Magic Quadrant chart for data security. No, it's not the one that I want. Ah, here we go. All right. All right, guys, this is about to get very boring. So This is going to be important because what I enjoy doing is educating people on certain companies that people don't really know about. And of course, there's a retail companies like, Hood, Amazon and stuff. And I don't do too much coverage on that because there's just so much knowledge out there on that. And I feel like I don't want to be redundant on it. I'll provide my input a little bit, but at the same time, like I just don't want to be redundant on that stuff. But I'm going to share this tab right here. So Rubrik, this is the Gartner Magic Quadrant, and Gartner is basically it's an IT research company that takes the surveys and reviews and talks to a bunch of CIOs, CEOs, and chief executives around the world, as well as like large clients around the world to find out, the best software there is out there, and basically rate them from 1 to 10 by overlaying that on this chart, on the Magic Quadrant chart. So in this chart, you pretty much want to be in the top right. Okay, so it's kind of like I don't know what, I forget the name of these diagrams, but if on the top right you're basically a leader, and you have the completeness of vision going to the right, and you have ability to execute going up, right? So being on the top right means that you have the ability to execute and you have a completeness of vision, which is great, right? And you see some companies here: Rubrik, data security company, cloud native platform, Rubrik Security Cloud. Cohesity is probably one of the biggest competitors when it comes to their market. I believe NVIDIA has a stake in Cohesity, but they're also a cloud native platform, a lot newer in the market, but they are privately traded. So you can't like buy their stock or anything. So I guess that's the reason why Rubrik is so popular. Commvault is more of a legacy solution. Anyone who works in IT, there used to be this thing called tape backups. And this is when I was younger. So, I mean, maybe there was something that a lot earlier before, actually not maybe, there were different methods to back up your software and hardware back then. But when it comes to an enterprise standpoint, they used to use these tape backups where you'd literally take like this gigantic block called a tape, you'd stick it into your server, it would copy data from your server onto that tape, and then you take it out, and this company called Iron Mountain would come over and then take that tape from you with your data, and they do it like every day and store it in their own warehouse. So then that way, if there's a disaster in your building, you can always recover from Iron Mountain in a separate safe location, right? And then you also did backups on premises, like to another server in your data center, right? So that's what Commvault was back then. But then they kind of rearranged themselves and refactored all of their application stuff to basically focus more on the cloud solution, where it's like AWS backups or Azure backups or Google backups, whatever it is. But I want to say they're late to the party, but like they're not a native platform in the cloud, right? They basically went from being on premises into the data center into the cloud. Rubrik literally started out in the data center, but they were actually built for the cloud, for all the cloud backups initially from the start. So that's why they're a cloud native platform. And the reason why Rubrik is so attractive is because it makes it basically independent from whichever hyperscaler you're running your servers on, whether that's AWS, Azure, or Google Cloud Platform, except they bring in a phenomenal amount of recovery toward your application. So let's take, for example, the CrowdStrike outage last July. A lot of Windows systems went down because there was a new patch released from the CrowdStrike application, and it forced a reboot on all these computers, specifically the Windows systems, and the Windows systems couldn't start back up because it was stuck in its kernel mode. Kernel mode is basically what the computer processes before it loads up your operating system. And if these computers and servers, such as Delta Airlines massive flight application running on Windows, if they can't come back up, you cannot serve airlines, right? You can't serve airplanes and all that stuff. And this happened across the entire world, right? Not with every computer, but all the Windows-based ones. I think it impacted like somewhere between 20 to 30% of all Windows systems around the entire world. It was a massive outage. If you had a delay last July, chances are it was probably during the time when that happened. It impacted the whole world. And Rubrik was able to recover a lot of companies from their downstate by bringing their most latest backup without the CrowdStrike patch and then bring it online very quickly. So Rubrik was actually a beneficiary from this incident. Even though they're not a competitor to CrowdStrike, they're a beneficiary because they are taking part in that restore phase when it comes to recovering all of your data. So that's why they got a lot of clients from that. And it was pretty interesting because I don't know how to pronounce the CEO's name, but that's what he talked about on that earnings call that fall. And the stock has literally just been straight up since then. Had a little bit of a dip buying opportunity during April, but since then it's like breaking the hundreds and it's like basically near all-time highs every single day. So that's what Rubrik is. Veeam is also more of like a data center software solution, but they're also a competitor here, but they were focused more using on-prem on-prem virtualization like VMware and so on, and Citrix. And they were basically built into that platform. So again, you have someone that was not cloud native, and then now they're switching over, right? So obviously Commvault and Veeam are leaders in this market, but they don't compete on par with the amount of recovery and basically the metrics that Rubrik has, especially its growth rate. Rubrik is growing around 40% year over year quarterly, right? And even in subscription ARR, which is basically the amount of the annual recurring revenue that it gets from just the subscription revenue alone for its clients, that is also growing around 40%. So like the company is growing very quickly, and they're expected to be free cash flow positive the next couple of years. So it's an interesting story to follow, and it's certainly not something that I want to trade right now because it's at nosebleed valuations, but I think it has a lot of runway, and that's the reason why I'm in it. I've been in this stock since basically IPO, not IPO, basically the lows from the IPO. So if I share my screen here, so I typed in the word IPO, didn't I? I did. I typed in the word IPO. So if I share my screen here, yeah, this is the dip that you could have caught in April. But like, dude, this is ridiculous. This is this is like a Netflix chart you look at in 2023. This is wild. Like, look how many. It's just been up, like a breakneck rally is what a lot of people call it, where it just goes straight up since April. But anyways, yeah, I even have the indicators that I drew in here. Like I was just accumulating this whole way and then just enjoyed the ride the whole way, right? And it has never been in the 30s since October of 2024. And that was around the time when they had their earnings call and they just started talking about how they were a beneficiary from the CrowdStrike outage. And it's just basically been up since then. So pretty interesting ride. They earned over $1 billion for the last 12 months, and they're growing at 40%, like I said. And on an adjusted free cash flow metric, they will be profitable on that. So again, adjusted is not a GAAP metric, but likely on a GAAP metric, they will be free cash flow positive probably sometime within the next 4 to 5 quarters. So we'll see what happens with that one. So yeah, guys, how the hell does Amit do these streams for so long? I can't. I'm getting tired, guys. I'm sorry. I'm a little hungover, so my apologies. But anyways, what's Rubrik valuation look like these days? So yeah, like I was saying, they're trading around 17 times enterprise value divided by next 12 months sales that they did guide for. Maybe it's a little bit less now, and I could go over those calculations in detail at another time. But anyways, pretty expensive historically, but historically they've only been public for about since May of 2024. So it's like a year and 1 month. So like there really is no historic to go by. And companies that are this popular, gaining a lot of traction in the market, they tend to have nosebleed valuations because of the premium, because like they don't really have that much competition or meaningful competition that's traded on public markets. So that's the reason why they're trading this value. It's like Palantir, right? Palantir, a lot of people compare it to valuations of other companies, but you can't really compare this to the valuation of the company because they don't really have competitors to compare it to. Like, how do you compare this to anyone? They don't have competitors. And on top of that, they have government contracts, which are very sticky. And then there's also that announcement about running America's database on Palantir and so on, whatever. I mean, yes, there's a lot of hype around this, but Rubrik, Palantir, Hood, Reddit, Meta, like these companies will not get cut in half unless the market pulls back. And I know some people will be like, hey, Reddit got cut in half since then. It's like, yeah, well, that's because like it was running very hot and you just needed one piece of news to bring it down. And then here it is. I own Reddit. I'm actually green on it again. So it's a tough hold, to be honest, but I did buy it. I bought it after it dropped. No, I did not hold it through that. If I did, then I would have definitely trimmed some. But yeah, I've just been holding it through all of this volatility. But it's up 8% today, and it could be part of the SP 500. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that. He's on at 455. Yeah, I mean, I'm probably going to be off before then, to be honest. So yeah, which among the top right are publicly traded? Oh, let me actually go back to that screen. I was still talking about Rubrik. Actually, no, I think that was pretty much it. I think that's all I needed to say on Rubrik. Which one? Commvault is traded publicly. Rubrik is traded publicly. Dell obviously traded publicly, but you guys already know Dell. They build servers for the most part. They do have recovery solutions, but this is more on a server basis. It's not really something. It's something you would package or something that will come with the server that you purchase, or like something you purchase a bundling. But obviously from this chart, it's not the greatest one out there, but for some people it's good enough, right? But yeah, I mean, there's really not that many companies. Veritas, I think they got acquired. Veritas, public traded. No, Veritas merged with Semantic. So is Semantic publicly traded? Yes, it is. Semantic is trading under the symbol SYMC. No, it's not. It's not publicly traded. I don't know. That's what this thing says. It's not. Sorry, I had my trading view open, so I was just looking at that. Yeah. Let's talk about Ooh, good one. Wow. You know, I said it's get off soon, and then you had to talk about GitLab. I don't know if I have time to talk about this one. I don't know if I have time to talk about GitLab. I could talk so much about GitLab. I really could, but I'm going to head off soon. My lunch hour is ending anyway, but yeah, maybe next time I'll talk about GitLab. But anyways, great having you guys on here. I mean, I hope Robinhood and Reddit get in the get an SP 500, because that'll be a lot of bragging rights I could have. But also, I mean, I own both companies, so that'd be cool. And if it doesn't, then it will at some point, and I'm not really waiting for that. I'm not hoping that'll be that and get out when it does. You know, it'll be more of a longer term hold. So yeah, you know, just a preface again, disclosure. I do have calls for on Reddit that I had coming into the week, which is doing it's doing decent stuff, like 25%. And I have hood calls expiring in September, and I also have hood spreads expiring in 2027. Yeah, no, the hood one, I was originally in weeklies that expired today, but I already got out of those yesterday. But then I joined Jason on the September ones. I don't know which strikes he has, but my strikes are like $100. So they're pretty far away, but obviously I'm not going to hold it and expect it to hit $100. And then, yeah, watch it hit $100. We'll see. Anyways, yeah, I think that's about it. App Lovin also has a chance to get in there, but appreciate you guys nothing to leave us on. Just a little something. Well, GitHub is owned by Microsoft, and GitHub is GitLab's number one competitor. And I mean, anything with Microsoft, it's very difficult to touch. Microsoft made a wise decision acquiring GitHub. Very smart decision. GitLab, Google actually has a 10% stake in GitLab. So I would not be surprised if Google acquires GitLab at some point. Google is very strong with the developer community. There are a lot of developers that build using Go as a language. Becoming a very popular language, especially when it comes to site reliability platforms and monitoring. In addition, a lot of applications are built using Go, or Golang is Google's proprietary coding language that they have for themselves. And Google is very strong with the developer community when it comes to integration with their Home Assistant models, or even integration on Android, right? Google owns the Android operating system. I think, actually, don't quote me on that. I'm pretty sure they do. But yeah, I mean, Google is just like a beast, right? And I guess in a sense, like, I am technically long Google because I own GitLab and Google owns 7% GitLab. So like in reverse, I don't really, but I would have to say that considering GitLab's valuation, it's trading very cheap right now on a historic basis. I can't say it's cheap. Like, it's difficult to say if a stock is cheap, but from my perspective, I think it's cheap, but I can't just say it's cheap, right? But on a historic valuation basis, it is trading cheap. Okay, so that doesn't mean it's cheap. It just means that historically speaking, it is trading below its average valuation, right? And the company is an amazing company. They build basically a DevSecOps platform. It's basically a platform where developers go on there and they create pipelines to run on their code, and they store their code on there to share along with their other engineers and whatever. And they have an open source model, but they do offer a cloud solution for a managed GitLab solution. And if you guys ever use GitHub, you go to github.com and you use GitHub, right? So GitLab has something very similar in which you use your domain name. Obviously, GitLab.com is not where you go in to log into your instance, but you get your own domain name in order to host your own GitLab instance. But anyways, very similar products. I would say that GitHub is much more popular between those two, like way more popular, has way more revenue than GitLab. But GitLab is a contender that's really growing quickly. I think they're growing at about 28% last quarter. They did reach GAAP profitability, but I think that was from accounting that they did. But I think they're gonna have sustainable GAAP profitability. Probably after this year, they will have sustainable GAAP profitability. They're already free cash flow positive. SBC is not an issue with them. I wouldn't be surprised to start buying back shares, mostly because they have some cash in the balance sheet and they are printing some cash too, so that's good. I would think that they should buy back some shares just to take advantage of a low valuation, especially if they have confidence in themselves. And the former CEO, which is the founder and still the chairman of the director of boards, he took a step back due to, I think it was more of like a cancer issue that he was discussing a few quarters ago. And yeah, he took a step back, and now the former CEO and founder of New Relic is now the CEO of GitLab. So that's pretty interesting. Bill Staples, you guys should look him up. Anyways, daughter's about to walk through the door, and this house is about to go ballistic. But appreciate you guys being on there. Is TTD still a buy? I think TTD is still a buy. I already have my position, but yeah. So appreciate you guys coming on here. Talk to you soon. Again, like and subscribe. If you aren't on the YouTube channel, please join the YouTube channel. I release a lot of videos on there with Chris and I. We have the Hidden Edge Pod that we host pretty much every single week. And glad to have you guys on here. Talk to you guys later.